Good morning. Good morning. So after 2 months of the Liberal government, the Trudeau Liberal government's lies and deception, Conservatives have forced a temporary pause of Trudeau's hunting rifle ban. This comes after we have seen the most underhanded amendment in the largest hunting rifle ban in Canadian history, attempted in the most underhanded way at Public Safety Committee. And from the hard work from Conservatives across the country, we have achieved, again, a temporary pause on the hunting rifle ban. Although we fully believe that Trudeau will ultimately continue to attempt to ban hunting rifles in Canada. This is a temporary pause, and hunters should be made aware that the Trudeau Liberals will continue to come after their hunting rifles. This is not the end, but Conservatives will continue to fight extremely hard to protect Canada's deep cultural and heritage history when it comes to hunting rifles in this country. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup et merci Raquel pour votre travail acharné pour empêcher Justin Trudeau de bannir ou au moins de temporairement forcer Trudeau à prendre une pause de son plan de bannir des armes de chasse des Autochtones, des fermiers et des autres Canadiens qui suivent les lois. Oublions pas, il y a 3 mois, le gouvernement de Trudeau a mis de l'avant des amendements pour bannir des armes de chasse. Et 3 mois plus tard, après avoir nié qu'il allait toucher les chasseurs, il l'avoue. On peut penser que c'est juste un autre exemple de l'incompétence de Justin Trudeau. Ça serait raisonnable, mais malheureusement, ce n'est pas le cas. Justin Trudeau veut bannir des armes de chasse. Comment le savons-nous? Il a dit. Sur CTV, il a dit en décembre, il y a moins de 2 mois, il a dit que son gouvernement allait retirer et bannir des armes utilisées pour la chasse. Les outils de nos Autochtones, nos fermiers et d'autres Canadiens qui ont déjà un permis d'acquisition pour utiliser ces outils légalement. Donc, en plus, ce qui est pire encore, il gaspille des ressources qui pourraient être utilisées pour renforcer notre frontière et empêcher l'importation des armes utilisées dans la criminalité. En même temps, après 8 ans de Justin Trudeau, la criminalité violente a augmenté de 32 %. Donc, attaquer les armes de chasse de nos Autochtones et les fermiers, ça ne fait rien pour empêcher le crime. C'est les vrais criminels et les trafiquants d'armes qui devraient être ciblés, et c'est ce que nous allons faire. I want to thank Raquel Dancho and our Conservative team. My Conservative team and I have forced Justin Trudeau into a temporary but humiliating climb down today. Trudeau desperately wanted to ban hunting rifles. Not only did he send a Liberal MP in to throw a sucker punch at our lawful and licensed firearms owners by banning their hunting rifles, he was asked specifically if that was his goal, and he said yes. It wasn't just incompetence, as we would normally expect from him. It was his own words, and I'm going to quote them here. This was from December. In his words, there are some guns, yes, that we're going to have to take away from people who are using them to hunt. That's his agenda. That's why today's humiliating climb down that we have forced Trudeau to make is a temporary pause in his plan to ban hunting rifles. He is doing this because he got caught, and because Canadians of all walks of life from across the country, law-abiding, decent, Indigenous Canadians, farmers, rural Canadians who follow the law, stood up with Conservatives and forced him to temporarily pause this plan. But we will not let up. Conservatives will never allow Justin Trudeau to ban hunting rifles, and we will remind Canadians that if he ever gets the chance, and if, God forbid, he ever got a majority, Trudeau would ban hunting rifles, and he would ban all civilian firearms ownership in Canada. That's his agenda. He's made it clear, and we won't let him do it. Because we know his agenda. He said it right here. There are some guns, yes, that we're going to have to take away from people who are using them to hunt.
So do you feel he's going to reintroduce
Oh, yes. He'll reintroduce this either in this Parliament or he'll dream that, God forbid, if he ever got a majority, he would ram it through. That's why the only way law-abiding hunters and farmers will be able to protect their way of life is to elect a Conservative majority government led by Pierre Poilievre.
It shows good faith that maybe you heard what you were saying, you heard what people were saying.
Good faith. Good faith. You are definitely with the CBC. You think that anything about this process has been good faith.
No, I was
So, no, but I mean, you got to ask, obviously you're from the CBC, you're trying to help him out of a bad situation, but the reality is this. He introduced this amendment. No, it's CBC is trying to carry Trudeau's water again. I'll give an answer to the question. He introduced this amendment with hundreds and hundreds of firearms owned by law-abiding, lawful, licensed people. He then attacked anyone who disagreed. He tried to use fear and divide and conquer, as he always does, and he reiterated his plan in December to ban hunting rifles. The only reason Trudeau has put his tail between his legs and paused this plan is because my team and I forced him to do it. But if he ever got the chance, make no mistake, he will ban hunting rifles, and the only way to prevent that is with a Conservative majority government.
But you have no hard evidence of this. You just said he wants to ban all civilian
Sorry,
ownership of firearms.
sir, what wouldn't you ban? If you're going to ban single-shot rifles that are exclusively used for hunting, then what would stop him from banning everything else? We also have the list. We also have the list of everything he tried to ban, and we have his words, where he says, I'm going to say it for a third time, because you don't seem to want to cover it, we're going to have to take away from people firearms they're using to hunt. He said that on CTV 2 months ago. That's his agenda. It hasn't changed. He's had a humiliating climb down today because he got caught. But the only way to protect the rights of our law-abiding hunters and farmers is with a Conservative majority government. Wait.
Qu'est-ce qui vous fait dire que c'est temporaire? Puis est-ce que ça fait le projet de loi reste tout à fait inacceptable pour vous à ce moment-là?
Mais ce que je dis, c'est que son agenda, il a défendu son plan de bannir des armes de chasse pendant 3 mois. Il a dit en haute voix qu'il voulait enlever les armes de chasse de nos Autochtones, de nos fermiers et d'autres Canadiens qui ont un permis d'acquisition. C'est ses propres mots. Pourquoi est-ce qu'il aurait dit ça il y a moins de 2 mois si ce n'était pas son agenda?
Does it affect trust in the parliamentary process, the way that the amendments were introduced and now withdrawn?
It was bad faith. He came in with a sucker punch, dropped this amendment out of nowhere. It's doubtful whether the amendment was even procedurally allowable, but he tried to ram it through with as little debate as humanly possible. And then he backed it up by saying that he wanted to take away hunting rifles from people. It shows his real agenda. Good thing that we had the incredible Raquel Dancho and other Conservative MPs. We were the only party that stood consistently against this from the beginning. We're the only ones who forced him to pause this plan, and only Conservatives can be counted on to make sure it never happens.
On the Chinese Bible,
Several polls now that indicate that a Conservative majority government is within reach. Are you going to start dictating and showing us more of what a Conservative majority government would do beyond just repealing Trudeau's policies, what your policies would be on climate change, on childcare, on other issues?
Well, we've been doing that. I don't know if you've been following my leadership race. I laid out policies on all kinds of these issues. Reform the tax code to reward rather than punish work. Get rid of the carbon tax. Incentivize technology instead of taxes to fight climate change. We would remove the gatekeepers to build millions of new homes and get our immigrant workers into the professions for which they are qualified. I've laid out policies on all of these things. So, yes, we'll continue to do that. My purpose is to make this a country where hard work pays off, where anybody who puts in a hard day's work can get ahead. That dream has been temporarily put aside by Trudeau. I'm going to restore it, and that's the agenda Conservatives are fighting.
On the Chinese spy balloon, what do you think about them sending a surveillance balloon that ended up in Canadian territory, and what should the reaction from the Trudeau government be?
It's outrageous. It's very concerning that a hostile foreign government had a spy balloon in our airspace, and then that continued to transit into the northwestern United States. We as Canadians should never tolerate espionage by foreign regimes, and we should work with our partners in the United States to hold the regime in Beijing accountable for this outrageous intrusion. Oui. C'est un outrage qu'un gouvernement étranger aurait espionné notre pays et de façon aussi audace. Et c'est la raison pour laquelle nous devrions travailler avec nos alliés pour contrer cet espionnage et pour protéger notre souveraineté nationale. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you.
Thank you.